Holy shit, what? Yo, yo, yo. And then bro was like fucking turning around. I was like, oh my God, is this thing ever gonna go on? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Logistics Lounge, Friday edition. We have the Talamo brothers here and a special guest, and maybe a few other special guests. We're going to talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about, because that's what we do in the Logistics Lounge. And we're going to also talk about 163,000 drivers who will possibly lose their job by the end of the year. So sit back, relax, pop a top, and enjoy the lounge. What's up there, bro, Migo?
What's going on, brother? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, man. How was your day?
It was kind of slow, which isn't bad. You know, it's nice, and this has been kind of rainy here, so I took a couple naps. Did some work. Did a little.
A couple.
I mean, dude, you gotta squeeze them in when you can. You know, I just make sure all my notifications are really loud, so if I get a ding, it just wakes me up. It's just little power naps here and there. Got another busy weekend ahead. Driving down to Georgia for some family stuff. Might find some truck stuff on the way there. You know, make the most out of it. So we'll see. Yeah. How was your Friday?
Man, it's good, dude. Problem-free day. Only had a couple loads to book and took care of those, and had just some more that we're delivering. Got those delivered, and then I went and got my hair cut and got a hot shave. And that's it, man. Came here and just been kind of filling in stuff, man, on the broker side and waiting for the show to start. So I come and hang out with you and all these lovely people that we have backstage, man. So nothing special.
I hope these Talamo bros know what's coming at them. About to lay into them. It's the roast of the Talamo bros.
Yeah, they've been here. They've been here and been able to be a part of roasting others, but now they get to get the shit. You know what I mean? So yeah,
that would be fun. We should do an official Logistics Lounge roast, like a couple times a year.
That would be fun, man.
Well, unannounced, just like, hey, yeah, come be a guest on the show. There's 30 people in the room.
I love it, man. That'd be freaking awesome. Hey, Kelly, what's happening? We ain't seen you in a while. We haven't heard from you. I ain't even seen you on LinkedIn very much. I don't know. Maybe you fell out of my algorithm or something. Brian, you don't have to comment, man. You just private chat it.
Leave it to the IT guy.
I love you, Brian. You're awesome, man. You're a fucking trip. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, man. Read these private notes, comments. Been working your ass off. That's good. That's good. You know, you may be tired, but hey, having plenty of work to do is a very good problem to have. Let's go ahead, get some sponsor love out of the way. Chigo.
You there?
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything?
The commercial is still playing right now, bro. I'm serious. I can't hear anything.
Oh, that's crazy.
Bro, dude.
StreamYard, do better. We need to reach out to StreamYard.
It's so fucking crazy. And it's lagged on my end.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm hearing myself. I'm sorry, Hunter. I did not mean to cut you off, man.
Oh no, dude. I was just like, can you hear Tim? Tim, say something.
Can you hear me? I hear you, Tim. I
There we
hear
go.
you. That was so weird. Like
That is
the
weird,
the
dude.
the,
Yeah, we are gonna have to reach
the
out to StreamYard though, because there are some bugs that need to be addressed.
yeah, that was so weird. Like the video stopped, man, and music was still fucking playing. I was like, "What the hell is going on?" So crazy, man. Oh my
That is
gosh.
weird.
Yeah, this string guard is something else, man. But anyway, you know, we'll get to it, man. We'll maybe find something else. I think we're outgrowing this StreamYard stuff anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna
Well,
need to.
I just want a platform that works, dude. I'll use Skype if we need to.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I don't know. I want to look into some of the other stuff. I told, like we were talking to, be cool if they had stuff that had sound effects and shit, or even this. If you could add sound effect files, like the freaking 1970s crowd laughing, the comedies, what I
Yeah,
mean? Like some funny shit like that. That'd be fun to have, man.
yeah, we'll figure something out.
Tim
But
Kelly says hi, and Kelly Tim says hi. Look at this. Boy, I tell you, everybody talking through the show on comments. Like, they both probably have each other's phone numbers, man.
yeah, just eavesdropping on us.
OF
Who's that?
OF works. I don't know. That's Ed. Dude, this
Oh
before I get
god.
into news, I'm gonna tell you, this guy, he is in my Facebook group just trolling the hell out of people, man, with his post. He is,
Really?
dude. Man, he put in there today. I'll have to find it so I can like read it verbatim, but basically saying that he's a broker that wants to bring back regulation pre
Really?
1980. He goes into this. Oh my gosh, man! I'm like, oh, every time I see it, when him post something like, oh man, the comments on this thing are going to be like 90 deep, bro. Like my Facebook group is going to admin thing is going to shut it off because after it hits like 50 comments, it stops the commenting because it thinks that it's a little tizzy going on, whatever that word is, argument and whatnot. All right, let's get to some news so we can get these fine individuals on the screen. 163,000. That's what I said. Could be losing your job by the end of the year if you don't get your shit straight, man. Truck drivers that have a prohibited status in the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse have just a few months to act before state licensing agencies begin removing their commercial driving privileges come November. CDL and CLP holders that are listed in the prohibited status in the agency's Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, an online database that tracks them, have until November 18th of this year to get themselves started in a return to duty process, or they'll be in a serious pickle with their license and their place of employment come after that date. So November 18th again is the deadline that was decided last year with a final ruling by the FMCSA. I'm sorry, in October 2021. This was to tighten down on the state driver's license agencies to get them to take more of a proactive approach to this. You report them, but not always does the state agency downgrade their license or put it in their own database. So folks are able to squeak by, which we've actually talked about that a few times in the news. Some people, who have had this stuff on their record and have got hired and then, caused an accident somewhere down the road. The Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse went into effect January 6th of 2020. It requires all motor carriers to query the online database before hiring any CDL or CLP driver and once a year for their existing drivers. This rule is meant to give employers and law enforcement real-time access to the driver's drug and alcohol violation records, including possible substance abuse, including positive, not possible, substance abuse tests and refusals to test. So, man, I have talked about this, maybe not on the show, but I've talked about it before, how I feel that, it should be a widespread thing that when you piss hot on a test, man, like your privileges are done for. Now, the companies usually do. They usually do it immediately.
Yeah.
They usually fire you. Some of them will keep you on and allow you to do the SAP program, but even though they fire you and they may report it, the state agencies may not pull that data when they go to put in, renew your license or all that stuff. And, per the law anyway, is if you don't do the return to duty status, your license eventually gets downgraded. So,
well, didn't you say like a couple shows ago about a driver that like got a DUI and the next day he went out and driving? It's not funny, but like was drunk again and then got in an accident. Like, I don't know if he killed people, but like that's crazy to me that a driver can just
exactly
fuck up that bad, and they're just like, okay, we'll see you in court. Go back to work.
That's it, man. He said potatoes and pickle.
The mortal enemy of the
start of the purge, man. I agree. I wouldn't say purge. I mean, 163,000 really is probably a drop in the bucket to the millions of drivers out there. But it is. It's a good thing. Hey, people make mistakes, man. I mean, really do. You could go off for a weekend with the wife or whatever. Have you a little edible something or, do something else. And, just been that one time and come back Monday and bada bing, bada boom, there it is. So, but if you're willing to go through that SAP program and take the steps and do the work and get your return to duty status, then, hey, I'm all for you staying in the industry. And anyone who knows that is a driver that is a driver, like this is a highly regulated industry, so you need to follow the rules. And if you don't, then you're going to lose your livelihood. What did Corey say here? Refusal is a tough one for a former employee to put you in. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel on the refusal, but I mean, I get where they're coming from. Their thing is, if you refuse to take it, you must be positive. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't know. Even if the case is that, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know where I sit now because I'd say I guess as long as they don't, test positive when they move on to the next job, but that kind of defeats it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're still skipping through the system and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're still using the shit out there. And if it's that big of a problem for you, man, then you probably shouldn't be.
You probably need help.
yeah, for real, man. But I'll tell you this. I think, honestly, this is great. I love it. That's what it is. That's all I really got to say. It's really good. Yes. You fuck up, make a mistake, then you need to go through the processes to fix it. Keep your driver's license, and hopefully it turns you on the straight and narrow for the rest of your driver career, man. Even in things like the military, you go through this, or you test positive, man. They put you through a little program and shit, man. You will lose rank and things, and you'll get extra duty and all that, but they'll allow you to stay in, on your first time for the most part, and just got to do the work. So there you go. That's why 163,000 drivers may be losing their job at the end of the year.
That is not what I was expecting, but
no, you thought I was going to say something like that.
Yeah, I was like, shit, who else is going under? What's next?
Oh, man, I forget that's what it was, dude. Yeah, I've had them for a while. That actually came out May 6th, but I don't know. I just found it amongst all the fucking ones I have saved. It's like, probably need to talk about this before it gets too old again, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have anything else you want to say on that, sir?
Nah, I think it's good. I think it's necessary. Keep the people safe, man. You're driving you're pretty much driving a small building, so don't be fucked up on the road.
That's a fucking small building. That's a good point. All right, what all of you ladies and gentlemen have been waiting on, Talamo, bro.
Boom, boom.
Steve and the Brain. That was
Steve and the Brain.
I like that.
I hope that y'all get it, man. We're trying to brain obviously for the inside joke, but as the whole Pinky and the Brain thing.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Look at that, y'all been on. Fuck knows how many times, dude. And you're one of the few people that's been on this show that we've not had as a premier guest and hasn't had their own video. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was thinking about that. There are so many people that have been guests and we've just kind of not invited. So Talamo bros, welcome.
Here we are.
Have y'all as the official guest.
They invited themselves, bro. Go look through the DM.
Yeah, I guess.
Thanks, Hunter.
Yeah.
Hey, you're welcome. Anything you need, I got you.
Like Hunter said, how are you gentlemen doing today?
Good.
We're doing good.
Yeah, been a good week.
Yeah. Fucking hey, man.
That sounds
Life
exciting.
good, business good.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got some baseball tournaments this weekend, so getting ready for those if the weather stays away. So yeah.
Sweet.
I didn't know you could play baseball at your age, Steve.
I don't. I sit in the stands. I assist playing the music. I assist the music director.
Really?
No, it's my wife. She plays the walk-up songs. I just sit next to her.
Do you guys play songs for the opposing team?
We have a few interesting ones. The best one we do is when the umpire goes and wipes off the plate. She's got this wipe it down, wipe it. So get some funny stuff going on out there.
That's good, man. That's good. That's one thing I'm looking forward to when I finally have kids. Hopefully, I have a son, and I'm just gonna be out there heckling. I'm gonna get kicked out of every baseball park in America if I can. What's going on, Miss Claudia?
Man, just doing the things, fighting the fraud. Been keeping my nose to the grindstone. I haven't had as much fun lately. Haven't been connecting with my homies, so my bad. I'm working on it.
It's all good. We've all been pretty
What's
busy.
going on with my hair? What's happening over here? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I have that same problem, Claudia.
Yeah. My boo's bald, so I get, he says that if he didn't have a beard, he would be nothing but eyebrows, and that would be weird. So.
That's funny. Well, gents, I guess for the people that don't know, y'all can decide who goes first. But who are you guys? And how'd you get here to AR.pro and working together as brothers?
Yeah, so kind of a little backstory. Obviously, you guys know it, and some of the people out there know. So I own a logistics company, Cleves Logistics, and when we started the company, I didn't drive. We were an owner operator. I didn't drive. I stayed back doing all the paperwork and dispatching and all that stuff. And I had some friends that also started logistics companies, and they're like, "Yo, we need some help with. We're both driving, or one of them would be driving, and they just needed help with paperwork and submitting stuff because they were just spending tons of hours doing that. So I would help them out, creating sheets for them and submitting stuff into their factoring, or maybe pinning stuff with their GoPort. And it just got me thinking, like, if they need it, there might be a bigger need for this. So my wife and I opened up this company, and we specialized in kind of gathering and creating documents to submit to factoring, right? So either the driver or the owner operator, they could send us these documents throughout the day, right? They didn't have to wait to compile it off. They have the interchange ticket, they could send it. They have the right count, they can send it throughout the day. We keep up with it, and then when basically the mission's complete, we would submit all that stuff into their factoring. Same thing if they were dealing directly invoicing customers, we would create an invoice for them. If they have their own invoice, they could send it to us. We could update it. If not, we would create their own invoice for them, invoice their direct customers for them, track it, and kind of when the customer pays it, we would keep all that for them. And we're able to store all that information for them. We got like 8 terabytes or something of space right now that we bought. I don't even know how big that is, but IT Brian claims
that is a lot from what I've been told.
So we got a whole bunch of space. We can store it. So if a customer, one of our customers, like a couple years down the road, says, "Hey, I need these documents or something," we can pull it up and send it to them. Smaller companies can't really afford to go buy all their TMS systems and all that kind of stuff. So we create an Excel sheet for them or spreadsheets for them that they can, if they're smaller, kind of operate it manually. That could be like a packing list. I know Andrew, my buddy Andrew, just chimed in down there. We do a lot for him with we made a packing list for him, invoices for him, and all that kind of stuff. So we also do GoPort management if they, if they're into drayage and they need help with that. So as we were putting all this together and kind of finalizing it, IT Brian, which by the way, I love that name, Pedro. I think it was you that actually named him that. But his company was going through a thing where they were moving their operation overseas, so he was about to lose his job. And him and I talked, and obviously, as you guys are aware, like super intelligent when it comes to web design, just kind of that tech know-how, IT support. And I was like, and to pause right there for 1 second, when AR.Pro's original slogan was "Your receivable simplified." When we decided to put this together, and I kind of approached him about him coming on board with us and doing all the web design and the tech know-how and the IT support, we moved it to "Your business simplified," because the way that we look at our business right now, like if you're a small business, we can handle a whole bunch of stuff for you, from invoicing and web design, all that stuff from A to Z, and you kind of just get one kind of package when you join us. So that's kind of where we started from and where we're kind of at right now. And it's been a fun journey. Be able to work with your brother every day and sit there and mess around. And we pick on Katie, because my wife, because she's the boss. And so Brian gets mad when she brings me breakfast and he don't get anything, because he's in Tampa and I'm in South Carolina. He says I get special treatment from the boss. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're meeting a lot of great customers like you guys, and continue to grow with customers. And it's been fun.
Did you hear that, Pedro? He doesn't see us as a friend. He sees us as customers. While he hangs around.
I did. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I can't.
All right, y'all have a nice day. We'll see you later. Oh, so,
Smooth.
yeah. All right. Hell yeah, dude. Mr. Brain, what about you, man? I mean, because Steve kind of touched on, what you do and why you're with him, but how about you? How did you get to being the person that your brother was like, hey, this would be the perfect person to work with me because of his knowledge and expertise?
That's an excellent question. Well, my last company that I worked for, I was hired for one thing, and then they realized I had all these other talents. So my job title just kept changing, because they're like, well, Brian can do this also, and Brian can do that, and he's handy over here, and so I just have all these extra little talents. And I started kind of like a side job. Like, all my friends will always reach out to me if they need something, some tech support or whatever. It's like they just call me and everything. So I've kind of been doing this on the side anyway, helping friends out and stuff. And then when Steve said we should create like a business and get paid to do this, I'm like, it sounds like a good idea to me. So that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, it's never fun being the utility tool, and I couldn't imagine with IT the amount of bullshit that came your way.
Oh yeah, it was fun sometimes. Turn off my computer, go away on chat. I'm not here right now.
Well, Brian, not to like keep the spotlight on you completely, man, but did you go to school for all the IT stuff and design, man, or are you self-taught, or how did that
Just
come about?
self-taught, tinkering and stuff.
Really?
Like just the internet, the way everything works, and when I was way back when websites just started coming out, it just blew my mind that I could sit in my house and I'm connected to other computers over and viewing all kinds of information on the computer. It just blows my mind. It still blows my mind. So I just love being part of that. So it's like I want to do something like that. So
Well, I remember one of our conversations. Steve was talking about when computers and stuff first came out. He's like, "Yeah, Brian will just be over there just all day, all night, tinkering on this computer." That's cool though, man. Like that's
nightmares about that.
I mean, that's a hell of a that's great timing though. Seeing it from the beginning to how fast and vast technology has grown, and the point that it's gotten to now. It's really unique, compared to these cats that are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Georgia Tech and get an IT degree and then just do that. But that's pretty neato. It's pretty neato. So what do you do? You ever gotten into the logistics side of things, or you just leave that to old Mr. Steve down here?
Well, I mean, I'm learning now, obviously, because it's a big part of my life now. And I helped him set up the news page on his Cleves website, which is handy. So I check that out every morning and kind of look to see what kind of news is going on in the logistics world. I don't understand a lot of it, but I'm learning. If I have a question, I pop it over to my boss or whatever, my brother here.
Don't learn too much. You might want to get into it at some point, and then you're just stuck in the rabbit hole. The rest of us.
Kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm on the back end. I take care of the tech side of it, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I just want to say that I'm glad you feel that way, because now you fucking know how we feel. We talk to you. You know?
And the roast has started.
Yeah. Brian's like, here, let me tell you how to do this. Bleep, bloop, 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 bleep, bloop, bloop. That's all we hear, man. That's it.
All I hear is blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's like the,
blah, blah,
the
blah,
teacher
blah,
from the Peanuts. All right, so all you got to do is wah 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 wah. It's like, I don't know what you're saying. Just tell me what I need to do.
Just tell me what to click.
Oh, the best thing was when I realized that he could actually remote into my computer and fix shit, because I break shit all the time on my computer, and I'd be like, dude, I don't know what the hell I did, blah blah blah, and he'd be like, oh, here, I'm going to send you this thing I can remote in. So now I'm just like, sweet, fix it.
Fix.
Man, Brian, please tell me you have messed with him in some form of fashion with having that remote connect. Like crazy wallpapers.
Yeah.
I mean, weird sounds. I mean, dude, you've got to say you've messed with him.
I have with past people I used to work with, but I haven't with him, because
But I control his paycheck.
he writes the check. So I mean, I have to. But there was a guy that used to drive me nuts. That used to sit next to me in my old job, and he left to go out and have a smoke or whatever. So when he came back, I actually went in there and I had the computer flip his monitors over. He was really confused. So his screen, everything was displayed upside down.
Dude, that's so fun. We used to do that all the time on the
Couldn't figure
brothers
out
I
what
was
was
working
going
at. They're
on.
just leaving like everything's upside down. The mouse moves the opposite way.
Right.
Like all the colors are inverted. And they're just like,
It's like, what the hell's going on? I'm gonna come over and fix it.
what'd you
Issue a ticket.
do?
It'll be 20. It'll
Gotta
be
buy me lunch. Gotta buy me lunch.
Mm-hmm.
submit a ticket.
I find
I'm
I find
suddenly
that real,
feeling like my IT problems were generated so that I will bribe my IT guy with food. So,
Job security and stomach. I mean, that's.
I was about to say, IT guys create the problem, so they have the job security always. It's like, oh, I know how to fix this, and then boom.
Things are going too smooth there, and I think the internet needs to go down.
And it's funny you say that, Claudia, because I swear all IT people work for food.
I feel like the reason I get priority on stuff to get fixed is because anytime I bring food for like my small team, I always involve the IT guy. So I'm like, hey, don't you forget, every birthday cake, you're involved. So like, we need to make sure that my stuff is getting fixed.
Yep.
On that note, if you ever need anything, I can send you my email because I work for food. So
I have DoorDash. I've been known to dash people everywhere.
I was just about to say that. I can see Claudia now. I need you to fix this. What do you want me to DoorDash you, Brian?
I've been known to send crumble cookies around for sure.
Oh darn!
So Brian actually has a customer that he prints menus for, and
I was just going to mention that.
Yeah, they pay him for the menus, but it's a restaurant, so he gets to go there and order whatever he wants off the menu, or when he'll actually send a driver to his house to pick up the menus, or what do you want for food, and they bring food with them when they come there.
Nice.
I love it.
Well, you got to make sure the menus work somehow. You know,
I need to change up my skills. Like obviously, I'm missing it over here on this.
Every now and then, when it's been a while, I'll reach out. So how are those menus going? I'm getting hungry over here.
So when you go there, you're VIP IT, Brian.
VIP.
Kind of nice.
I was going to say, man, that I find it. I agree with Hunter, dude. It's freaking neato. It's cool that you taught yourself that. I don't know, maybe you said that to us before and I just forgot. But as someone who has seen and directly deals with you and in your profession and your skills, man, fucking really good, dude. I mean, I know you're good, and I know people tell you, but that's pretty amazing, man. The stuff you've been able to do just for us, and
yeah, I don't like not knowing how to do something. So I would see something done on a website and then I would research it until I figure it out. I'm not happy until I know how that works. A little more difficult these days. I mean, I've discussed this with you, and I have some struggles and stuff. What good thing is I still know a lot of my past, and that's why I love that I can work with Steve. He allows me to do what I know and I can do right now, because it'd be hard for me to go somewhere else.
Plus you got all that dirt from your childhood on him, so he can't fire you. You know what I'm saying? All right, Nate is here. Now we can start the road. Austin. Hunter,
What's up, Nate?
How's it
What's
going,
going-
Steve? Good to see you.
Yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's Friday. It's Friday at the end of the day.
Cheers to that.
We made it. We made it.
Mm-hmm. Well, things been going, Nate. You've been traveling around a lot, hitting shows and
Let's
conferences.
see. Since Broker Carrier Summit, yeah. Not shows. I had to jump down and meet a partner. Partner down in Alabama, and then I go to ATA in at the ATA mid-year in San Antonio on Monday. So down there, going to speak a little bit on Tuesday, and then I jet back home. And then I'm here for a couple of days, got Memorial Day, and then I go to ATA, National Accounting Finance Council, and then FreightWaves. So still moving and shaking, brother.
Love it. Love it.
God, I bet you got so many freaking air miles. It's ridiculous.
I travel a lot less now than what I used to. So if you can believe that.
Hunter and I were just talking about travel before he came on. All right, let's get back to AR Doc here. So, Steve, how I don't think you said, maybe you did, but how long have you been doing this with AR Doc? Like as a company?
So AR Doc Pro as a company, we just opened about 4 months ago.
Sweet, man, awesome. And what is your like target company size, man? Are you working more with those people who are trying to be manual, few trucks, and or large? Well, where are you at with that?
Yeah, so I want to be a small business helper, right? And that's what. So it can be, obviously my passion is in owner operators, right? But we do other small businesses as well, right? So I mean, it could be a construction company, it could be a plumbing company, whatever, right? Small companies that they just don't have the manpower or the funds, I guess I should say, to hire that office person to do all that for them. That's what we're there for, right? We want to be able to help out the small business. Obviously, the owner operator, close to my heart. They're out there working all day long, 60, 70 hours a week. And a friend of mine that I was helping do this, at the beginning, right? They were coming home after working all week, and they were doing this at night. They were doing this on weekends where, that's family time, So if I can help you out and do it during the week for you, and, you get your evenings and your weekends back. So we're not, at least the vision right now, it's to take care of the small business, help the small business so that they can continue to grow and make money.
What about brokers, Steve? I mean, do you have working with any of them, or is that something you're thinking about as well?
Definitely. Where's the need out there, right? Is it brokers? Is it this? Is it that? It's whoever. We're trying to include more partners in it, right? Obviously, you guys know that I partnered with Clinton Sherline, right? So we partnered with them, to be able to help people, get to the right factoring company. We're also looking at partnering with a guy that prints my pens and in my tumblers, right? And if I can create stuff where they can come online and order stuff for their businesses as well, and I can send it directly to him, right? So it just again all in. Here's your small business need, all in one spot. So could think of some more stuff down the road as we continue to do it, but anything that small business needs now is kind of where we're looking to help out.
That's killer. Back of house work is my least favorite work. I do not like chasing paperwork, doing all that dilly dally. Man, I tell everybody I'm not an accountant. I'm not a paper pusher.
Yeah,
I do my job.
Well, see, and I find it easier, right? Because I mean, again, they get the right count, they send it to us. Boom! Now I have a file set up for that load number, right? As soon as that driver, let's call it intermodal, for example, right? As soon as I get that interchange out, boom! That driver sends it to me. Now that one's in there, and they get the BOL signed from the customer. They send it to me right there. Boom! It's in the file. So it's just a lot of just moving stuff over, and then as soon as that file is, we'll call it complete, mission complete. Then we just go and submit it all. But the files come throughout the day. So it keeps everything very organized for the customer. And they don't have to wait and be like, oh, what did I do with that ticket? Did I throw it away? Did the dog eat it? Did I spill my soda out? It all kind of just comes. So when I get my customers to actually send the stuff as they're getting it, it just stays very organized for them. And boom, once it's over, it gets sent. Or if I'm creating the invoice for them, then I create the invoice for them and send it to their customer. And Yeah, every customer has their own tracker, so I know what invoice numbers they're using. If they got certain invoice numbers they're using, it's all very organized, and they can see it at any time. You know, if they want to send it over to me once it gets paid, I check it off as paid. You know, I can send reminders. You know, 30-day reminders, whatever their net is, right? If they're net 7, net 10, whatever, I can send reminders to their customers and let them know, hey, you know, this invoice is due. So, it just takes a lot of it seems to take a lot of stress off the small business owner.
Dude, oh man. Once again, another thing that I wish I would have had during my drayage days, because the drayage paperwork, man, in-gate, out-gate, those tickets, scale tickets, just any little bit of paperwork, dude, that I can't tell you how many hours I've spent scouring my email and
Yeah.
like just trying to match it all up and make sure it's all in the right place. Like bad times in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I actually encourage them to actually give me, you know, if they want to, they can actually give me their GoPort access to where I can actually go on there and print the documents themselves, so I don't have to wait for the drivers to send it. As soon as that thing gates out, I can literally go in there and print the interchange ticket. As soon as they gate it in, I can print it. So some of them actually give me their access to it, and their driver may, you know, they might be on vacation, and the driver may need me to pin stuff for them, and I can do that as well if they give me access to it. So, but yeah, if they get the more access they want to give me, they feel free to give us, the more the more hands off they can actually be with it. If I have access straight to their factoring company, boom, I do it, submit it all in there for you. So it's how comfortable they feel with the access they give me, and it's the more we can do for them.
That's pretty killer, man. And that's a level of trust, you know, that like I could just see binds y'all together for the long term. Because I mean, you know, those drayage carriers, man, they're movers and shakers, and especially the owner operators, like they don't have time to sit back and do that. And you know, after a full day, you know, pumping the ports and getting their job done, they just want to go home and relax, you know. And the last thing I hate chasing down drayage carriers for paperwork, because once it's done, you know, they're like, pay me. Like, I can't. You didn't give me any of my stuff, but
yeah, we had one customer, the actual broker or the factoring company, sorry, they commented on the fact that that I sent it so quick that because they can see on the interchange ticket what time I got the ticket, right? So the documents came to them so quick from when we got it. I think they were kind of shocked, right? And they made a reference to it. But again, when you're getting that documents throughout the day, and you're not having to track it down throughout the day, as soon as we get that last interchange ticket, boom, it only takes me a few seconds at that point just to go in and to fill it out and set it up and submit it. So
I'm interested, Steve. You're gonna have to get a hold of me, or we're gonna have to chat. I'd love to see it. So.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, didn't you say you had another platform that you guys built directed towards drayage, or was that kind of what you were talking about right there?
What was that?
You guys were talking earlier when we were talking about AR Doc, but you said that you and Brian had built something, I guess, around drayage. Maybe I heard that wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe I'm just being dumb. I probably just came up with that idea myself, but
no, I mean we do more than drayage, right? We do it for other customers.
Yeah,
not just drayage we do it for,
But before we go on, Nate, we need you to use code Lounge365 so Hunter and I get our referral fee, please.
Hey, it'll go towards the party bus so we can hit Iowa 80 next year.
Fair enough. Party bus to this Lounge 365. Where's this party bus and where are we going?
Wherever we want, man. It'll be a nice 1985 Winnebago, cigarette stains all in the cab. You know, it'll be fancy.
Perfect.
I think it sounds right up my alley. So brings back the old days.
Hey, Steve, are you guys dealing, primarily or just with factory companies? You said customers, so are you dealing with direct shippers and stuff like that with the carriers that you're dealing with?
Yeah, so we can direct bill anybody, right? So it all depends. Like some of them are a mix. Some of them, maybe they don't factor all their invoices. They do some through their factoring, and then the other ones they direct bill some customers. So yeah, it's all the customer preference. Like I said, we create a customized spreadsheet for them that will include their own custom invoice if they want us to, or if they have one already, they can send us that's already built that they like. I know, I don't know if my buddy Andrew's still on here. When we built his, it went from, everything from a delivery order to an invoice that all fed in, a pick list that he can create and put inside the stuff as he's sending it out. Like it created the whole, and it all looks the exact same on the format when it went across. And that was one of the things that he liked, and we could customize and change it anytime he wants. So.
Gotcha. I'm gonna ask you one more question, Steve, and then IT Brian, I got one for you, man. So, Steve, obviously, when you deal with the factory companies, with what you do, the factory companies are the ones that take up the responsibility of actually getting the receivables and going through that process, making sure that it's paid out to them, when the time comes due. So, when you're dealing with the direct customers, with your customers, are you kind of taking on responsibility too? Like you're billing them, you're sending them a reminder, hey, this is due in 2 or 3 days. And then if they don't pay, hey, this shit was due, like how far does AR Doc take it in that retrospect?
So I don't do collections with it, right? I will do reminders for them. I will send out reminders and all that. I don't go as far, and I outline that right at the beginning when we have our first kind of meeting when they want to go on this. I don't get into the collection piece of it. At the end of the day, that's kind of on you. And the majority of the factoring companies are like that anyway. I mean, it's at a certain point, if the customer doesn't collect, the factoring company really kind of brings it back to you to go get it from the customer at a certain point anyway. Some of them do. I think some of them may actually get into the collection piece of it, but yeah, just that's the whole, at some point, which we haven't had that issue yet as far as customers not paying my customers. But yeah, I mean, at some point, if that ever happens, and the collection piece then kind of falls back on them, but I will send as many reminders as I need to about their invoice being due, and then track that for them until they're ready to kind of take it to that next collection steps.
Gotcha, broski. Gotcha. Mr. IT over there,
Yes.
Obviously this all this stuff has a lot of technological parts to it, so what has or is, whichever way you would say it, been the biggest struggle or the most difficult thing to get all this together and get it up and running? Like, were there any hurdles for you as a person who had to build the back end and the technological side of it?
Hold on, Brian, let me answer that question real quick on my version, and then you can answer it. He's had to deal with me. In my brain, when I get an idea, it just starts pouring out. And he's having to take notes and figure out where my brain is at. But I get an idea of, hey, good business idea, let's roll with it. And he needs to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together to get me where I need to be. So I would say his biggest struggle is probably dealing with me. But I'll let you answer that question.
Yeah, when I get up in the morning and I see a new message from Steve saying, so I got this idea, I know my brain is going to hurt for that day. Yeah.
We'll put you in our prayers, Brian.
Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I just kind of sit there and I'm like, I wonder if Brian can do this. And then it turns into hey, call me when you get up.
It turns into a whole thing of Motrin is what it turns into.
Brian's going to put your ass on a three question limit a day, or three question a day limit. Brian, your side of it. What are if any struggles getting this set up and they're dealing with now going forward, all that?
He's the brain when it comes to like accounts receivable and all that fancy little stuff that he does. I'm just kind of like the web guy and the tech guy on the other side, and I just struggles. Is that what you're asking me?
Well, I mean, like any problems or hurdles, was there anything that you didn't know how to do when it came to helping Steve get this, up and running, that you're like, oh, I've never done that type of programming, or I've never thought about building something technological, like that?
Yeah, I'm always learning. I have to look stuff up. But the internet helps. Like if I don't know how to do something, somebody out there has already kind of done it. So I kind of look and I research and get ideas, and then I come up with ideas for us, and I try to make it better.
So what I just
Brian's actually, Brian's using Fiverr. We just don't know it. He's like, all right, we need to get this done.
I mean, just we have a simple little tool on Steve's website, on his Cleve's website with the cameras and stuff. And, port cameras, they don't automatically update and stuff. So I added a new little feature to it now. So you don't have to keep clicking refresh and stuff like that. I usually take an idea, and if it's something, I look at it myself, like that's kind of annoying to me. So then I make it better.
I do appreciate the port camera feed though. That is cool. Like obviously I watched it for 24 hours straight.
fell asleep dreaming to it or something. I don't know.
All hell broke loose when the damn port system, when the cameras went down for like a week, and we thought it was on our end, and we're like, "What the hell?"
There's still
one
on
their end that they stopped. It was locked on one image. It just fixed itself today, but it's been locked on one image since May 8th.
What?
Yeah, and for all the ports, so I thought it was on our end. So of course, immediately I called my IT guy. Found out that it was a bigger issue.
That I've seen that before on many movies. That's called a video loop. Yes, I think there may have been a heist there.
Yeah, we had our own little joke about what was about to happen. So,
well, what was the joke? What'd you think was going to happen?
It's political, so I ain't going there.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Claudia
froze.
She did. I think she got bad signal where she's at.
She looks like she's in a dungeon.
She's in her office, dude. They got a cool little office there. Like they have Claudia, if you get a chance, you got to show the kitchen that your boss has in there. Dude, you'd think that it was like a little like TV studio. They have like a little kitchen area. They have a bunch of couches for podcasting.
Nice.
Some other weird stuff that I don't know what it was. And she's gone again.
Got to reboot that router.
Yeah, well, she's on her phone and shit. And I think where she's at is like middle of the building or back of the building or some shit like that or whatever.
Where is she located?
Crap, you had to ask. Shit.
I'm just thinking it's, on the East Coast, it's 6:00 right now. So based on where she is, it's rush hour. So cell towers are probably getting hit hard if that's what she's
doing. I want to say she's, oh my gosh, you had to ask. Holy crap, when she comes back.
She's in her office.
She's in her. That's like.
In the United States.
That's like that, Claudia. Where
is it working?
It is working.
Oh,
okay. Let me show you the thing before I break again. Hold on. All right. So the boss has like a place set up for us to do podcasting from. So
I need a kitchen in my office.
This is like our hold on. Over here.
And this is at a transportation office.
Looks like a movie studio.
Starting to see it more and more.
What's in the crock pot?
So we have a driver who he does like little videos about foods that you can make in the truck, so you don't have to eat truck stop food.
Okay.
And then they've got this like little tool section. Like, look, nice. We've got a green screen back here, and then this is where. Let's see. I'm trying to work backwards here. Like, which way does it go? Can you see that?
Really
so then
cool.
there's like a little desk set up. And then over here, where we have the two big cigar chairs. They actually came out of a cigar lounge that's here in town. They were selling some of their furniture. So anyway, so that's our studio. And like, these are soundproofy, spongy doodad things. So
cool.
to try to keep
that is a technical term. Spongy doodad things. That's technical term right there.
I mean, I'm here to come up with a good language,
Hey, Claudia, but before I forget, I saw that sign sitting on the floor. You have got to pester the shit out of your boss. We were trying to get him on the show, and then
I pester him all the time. Yeah, well, about that for sure. I need to.
He has that. What is it? Trucking 101.net or something.
101.net. If I remember
You guys
right.
got to go check that out, dude. Like, it is a really fucking cool website. Like, her boss has this whole website for drivers, man, and there's all kinds of information on there, and informational tutorial things. Just really, really cool thing. Her boss came up with this whole freaking idea in this website, and we've been trying to get him on, but we had forgot. We've got to reignite that conversation, Claudia.
Yeah, I'll work on that. I went over and I told him early this morning. I was like, "Hey, I'm podcasting this afternoon," and I said, "I don't really know
your
about what
boss.
our subject is. We're just doing things." He's like, "That's cool." He said, "That's fine."
Nate
Hey, you said you know her boss?
Yeah. Who's the owner? Jason.
Jason Decker, my
I
president.
know Jason. Yeah, he's friends with Alex Mai.
He's friends with who?
Alex, Mother Trucker.
Yeah, Mother Trucker's been here before. Like he's been here a few times.
Yeah. So Jason, I know Jason. So
and to answer your question, Steve, she's in Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as trucking101.com popped, I'm like, oh, I know this website. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the boss really has a heart for drivers and
Right.
and
Great
small
guy.
operators,
Absolutely.
and so we really we really do our best to make sure that, and I try to make sure that guys are educated, talking about like making sure that they're not getting taken advantage of, because I'm sure you guys know, a small truck operation, of course we know how many trucks on the road are MCs that have 5 trucks or less, and a lot of those guys, as Steve was talking about earlier, they don't have the resources to go back and get the TMS systems or get all the vetting software and things that are available out there to make sure that the people they're working with are legit. And it's hard enough for them to book loads, and they already have to deal with people trying to book loads for them, and sometimes those people are shady, and it's really hard to get that squared away for them. And the wrong load can put a trucker out of business. If they get double brokered and it's somebody who's not going to pay them, they've done a long haul across the U.S. and I mean, $5,000 can make or break sometimes, these carriers. And so we want to try to provide education for them, and let them know, hey, what's this MC look like? Is that a broker MC? Is it a carrier MC? Who are you talking to? And try to help them understand, ways to protect themselves as well. So we try to do that whenever, and anytime people reach out to me, I'm happy to try to, stop in and give them the pointers that I know, and things to look for, and try to help them. The guys know I've helped people like chase down their loads and and that kind of stuff. I'm pretty relentless when that kind of stuff happens. So it's not. I tend to try to be like positive and happy and all of the good things, but don't take my freight. Don't take someone else's freight, because then the ugly me comes out, and that ain't nice. A little bit hood, a little bit holy. Don't make me get crazy on you.
Hurricane Claudia is coming offshore.
Her name on the show is Claudia the Connector, but if you fuck with her and make her chase you down, she becomes Combat Claudia with the Kung Fu chop.
I was going to say Claudia is a disconnector. So yeah.
Claudia the Disconnector.
Yeah, don't make me get my body arm after you. We're in trouble then. Like
Claudia is amazing. Steve, Brian, if you guys aren't hooked up with her on LinkedIn, like, you got to. Claudia the Connector, like, that is a logistics lounge thing, because so many of our guests have come from Claudia, just putting us together with people, man. Tim Bannon in the Bannon Report, we knew what they were, and we thought we knew who Tim was, but Claudia hooked us up with them, and just a shit ton of other people. I can't even think of the amount of folks. So
what was that website you said earlier? I missed it.
Trucking101.net.
Hurricane 101.
Oh no, trucking101.net. No. You can call my website Hurricane 101, but
It's funny, Rob, that you talk about that, right? Because I mean, think about the connections, and we talk about this all the time. The connections that your show brings together is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from the people we've connected with, and I mean, just it's awesome. That's what I love about your show. I really do.
Man, we appreciate it, and Claudia has been a huge part of that, man. I mean, really was. She would just we have a group DM between her, Hunter, and her, me, Hunter, and Chris Allen. And I mean, dude, that thing is it goes back to last fucking year. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I remember when
still-
we first met and got connected. Like, I think after we got you on the show the first time, Claudia, it was like 3 weeks straight where every day you'd be like, "You got to get these people on. You got to get these people on." And then like
Yeah.
new messages would pop up, and Claudia'd be like, "Hey, meet these guys. We're gonna get you on their show." And it's like, okay, Wait. we just
I
have
know
a
I
steering
can be a
wheel, but
little
it doesn't work. Claudia's really the one in the background driving the ship.
I'm only a little bit sorry about it. Not a lot, just a smidge.
It helped us out.
And Claudia has joined us from like so many places, man. The first time she came on, she was actually at an event for her company and told her boss, like, hey, you know, I got invited, you know, on these guys' shows, you know, or show, do you mind doing it? He's like, yeah, sure. And so Claudia's just sitting there chilling, and you hear in the background all like, you know, everybody playing glasses and shit, man. We're like, what are you doing, man? And and she, man, you came on the show. You were at another event. I don't remember what it was. You were in
That was
Florida?
Cassandra's event down in Florida.
Cassandra Gaines, right? Cassandra
Yeah.
Gaines, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and
Man,
I
Claudia.
met Sam there because Sam knew about your show, and I got to meet her there at the thing too. And like she's on my Teams chat, the one I was telling you about. Like we my last name. Oh, he doesn't know. You want to put my last name up? I don't have the little thingy to do that.
Yay, he's on mute.
Yeah.
No, you can't tell them.
I would have fucking went on for 30 seconds, bro. That's why I have you guys.
All right, Tater.
Only because you were giving Claudia's last name, I told you.
I know, right? Hey, it's Clint. It's Catlett. Catlett. Claudia Catlett. And her lovely face is her profile picture, so she's easy to find. I also think it says "Freight Fraud Fighter" is like her.
It does.
Tagline.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now
Claudia,
Claudia.
we got to get that group back up and rocking. It's been a while since we've been
I
on.
know. Yeah, it's difficult for me to keep that. Like I was talking to you guys earlier today, like having multiple. I mean, you guys already know we've already got our TMS and we've got your email and your this and and I know you guys have even more with all of the stuff that you're doing with the show. So it's hard for me to keep that open and going as well as like the other things. Teams is easy because I already have that open for all day. But yeah, we need to work back on that. And I think Dale is popping back up the freight group, the one that you have to be like vetted before you can get in it, because I mean I know you guys know that we put out this information. We put it out on the interwebs, but then also bad guys are getting the same information that we're putting out,
Mhm.
So if we go on and put all this info out there, like, hey, this is what we're watching for. And then the bad guys are like, oh shit, let me fix that, and then they do. And then now it's even harder for us to catch them in bad acts. So what we are trying to do is make sure that the information that we're putting out there, and that's why we have these like small groups, that the information we have out there is only in the hands of people that we want it to be, not that we're putting it out there for all the double brokers to grab and do what they will with. Speaking of double brokers, did you see our favorite dude on the TikTok is in trouble?
Oh, G-Face?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got busted for being in the Mexican mafia since 2005.
Yeah, Michael.
He's an
about
Yeah,
that.
Lombard is eating that up.
I haven't gone into it. I just saw his post and kind of glanced at the stuff, so I haven't dug into it. I didn't know if you guys had known any more or dug any more than that.
Yeah, I know Lombard posted up the documents and stuff. It's like
Mhm.
4
Yeah, he's
pages, but
been an informant for the DEA for quite some time. Yeah, with the Mexican mafia.
he was.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was an informant.
That's what the post was. It was about him being like an informant. I mean, he got in trouble, but when he got in trouble, he became an informant. So, needless to say, very possible the next thing we see from that guy may be his funeral procession. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like if that stuff got put out there, man, I don't think that guy might be around much
Can
longer.
we put it on the back of a truck so maybe his funeral procession will get double brokered?
Yeah.
Put it on a flatbed.
Dude, that guy right there is just something else. Whatever. Anyway, the group that Claudia was talking about, we do need to get that started. Started again, or started back again, whatever. But it was a fraud fighter group that, like Claudia gets all this information and all these people, other people, John Cantera, the Bannon Report, and about 5 or 6 others were putting a lot of content in there, and it was just every time they like literally caught someone doing it, they would post it, and we put it in this little group, and it's a private group, so not everyone can see it. And like Claudia was talking about the bad actors, like, oh, we talked about it online, so there's like, oh, okay, thank you for telling us what we're doing wrong. Now we can fix that and get around the barrier that you've put up for us. So yeah, I'll drop that link to you guys. We haven't done a lot in it, but we need to get that growing.
Yeah.
Claudia, that'd be a fantastic thing, And
Yeah.
I don't know if Dale is in it, but Dale would be a good person to have in there because of his Freight Validate. And I think what you may be talking about is his social media thing, which is Freight Club. Was that what you were talking about?
Club. Yeah. That's
Mhm.
what I was trying to talk about. Yeah. He makes sure it's kind of like, how you can't get a Carrier 411 unless you've got a broker MC. His is, that's kind of his jam with the Freight Club, is that like you got to be legit in the game,
To get in there.
before you can do it. I don't know how that works as far as like, because there are people who are in the game who got MCs who are shady AF. So, I'm not really sure how that shakes out on his end of it. But when it comes to me on the Freight fighters thing, like in our group, I'm like, I don't know who you are. I want somebody I know to tell me you're all right before I bring you in. It's like, kind of like an invitation only type deal for the Freight Fighters Club.
Yeah,
on like what we have for the group. I don't know how Dale does his part for the Freight Club, but I think it's a great idea for sure.
I'd imagine he uses Freight Validate for that.
Screens it through Freight Validate.
Yeah.
And all that whole computer system he's got to track everybody. And
yeah, it does. I mean, to join it, it makes you put in your MC and all that stuff or whatever. So, but I like it. It's a good idea though. It's a good idea to have. Go ahead. Sorry, Nate.
Did you see what Dale just said in comments?
Oh, I can't see the comments on my.
Yeah,
Claudia, he
that's
said,
not.
Claudia. Oh, sorry. Can you read it, Claudia?
I've got 16 MCs owned by the same guy coming to next week. Like on the show? What, on your show?
I don't know what he meant by that.
Where are they going?
But yeah, the second comment though, Rob. Yeah, so they do go through Freight Validate with the facial recognition. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
What you doing with that information, Dale?
I know, right? I better get my privacy notice email. Damn Dale selling pictures of people to the bad actors.
I'm curious, Dale, on the 16 MCs. At some point, you and I got to talk on that one. So that's freaking crazy. 16 MCs.
Yeah, Dale, if you're not doing anything, let us know. We'll shoot you a link.
Hey, who's Clint Weston, and what does he mean factoring? Clint are you a factoring guy?
No, let me take this. Clint is the owner of Shoreline Capital, our longest standing.
Awesome.
Yes, Clint has been on the show 2 times. Here's another great thing. Clint and the Talamo brothers here. They factor their stuff with Clint, and they're also partnered with Clint through AR Doc Pro, so they help collect all the receivables and paperwork for people and send it over to Shoreline. Clint is an amazing guy. I'm glad you brought this up, Clint, because the last time we had you on the show was actually about what factoring companies are dealing with and seeing as far as fraud. And you know, his comment's been up for a while, as y'all see. He says he has caught 6 or 7 fraudulent factoring applications just in the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, everyone's dealing with it. This whole industry is just wrought with this freaking problem. What up there, Mr. Redneck? Good to see you watching. You always watch, man. We appreciate it, broski. We really do, man. Sending the Crooks MC's number to you, Claudia, for your group.
Rock on. Thanks, Dal. And you know,
Hey,
and so that's
did
the
you?
thing, like,
Yeah, I'm sending it to him.
Okay, all right, cool. Sorry, Claudia. I was making sure Hunter was sending him a link. Sorry about that.
yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, that's the thing, like with look, those of us who are legit in the business are just like out fighting the same fight. You know what I mean? Like if I find out about shady carriers, you know, if and sometimes my finding out about shady carriers isn't something that I can necessarily put a freight guard on them, right? Like maybe they haven't done anything like that I can legitimately post a freight guard about them, but I'm like these guys, you know, they give me the heebie-jeebies. They're associated with somebody, you know, and if I can let like the crew know, hey, you know, try to protect those that are around you and say, hey, you know, this is what's going on with them. And, you know, express your concerns. Like, hey, if you want to load them, but this is what I know and or think or whatever, you know, and go into it with your eyes wide open so you know what you're going to do with it. So.
Hey, Brian, boss lady just brought me beers.
Oh, Miller man. Let's go.
I'm in the wrong office. I'm
Brad,
still
wait,
waiting.
man.
Hey, you need to bring that up with HR there, Brian.
What's great about AR.Pro, we don't have HR company.
I'll have to work on that email address right now.
There's the
Ryan
man.
said you got him feeling like that guy in the movie Office Space, and they keep moving him until they eventually put him in that small little.
Swing lane stapler. So
Yeah.
Swing lane
You don't
stapler.
He doesn't get any cake.
Happy Friday,
Hey,
Dale.
I'll take care of you for cake. You just fix my stuff if I need it, okay? Like I got you.
Boom.
How are
You
you?
gotta give him some nothing bundt cake.
Good.
What up, Dale?
Good to see you.
Hey, those 14 that I'm sending over to you, I think there's 14 or 16 or so. The cool thing about I was on the phone today with Ken Riddle. He's the director of registration at Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, or FMCSA, which stands for Failed Measures Causing Scandalous Activity.
Dale loves changing around these words. Like he's like, let me tell you what an idiot.
We need to slap that on a T-shirt.
Promote idiots.
Yeah. But anyway, we were talking about these groups of people, and you know, he said, well, we really weren't vetting these people. But anyway, this group I told them about them about a year ago. There's 16 people in this group. I'm sorry, 16 MC numbers. And it took me 10 months. You have to request documents. You know, most of these other guys like Carrier Assured. I love all these guys, but I'm just saying that they all buy digital work and analytics and, you know, all technology. So, but really to find bad guys, you have to dig in and get copies of their applications and find out what they put on them. So in this particular group, the MCS 150, MCSA 1, MCS 150s, OP1s, all those applications, they have the same signature of the guy. And it's blocked, and you know, block number 32 says not affiliated with anybody else. And he's blocked. He just said he's not a U.S. citizen. He lives in Uzbekistan. He's a citizen of Uzbekistan. So they haven't caught any of this stuff. So now they're going to look into it after I reminded them after a year. But it took me. I applied to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration FOIA office in July of last year to get all these documents. I got them April 30th, 10 months later. So I'm going, like, how much damage this guy caused in 10 months?
How much damage can they cause in a day, guys? I mean,
Right.
really? Like,
and this, what's really messed up, one of the companies, MC number 076140, this clown is Logistics Systems, is one of the group of these people. And so they applied for their authority in January 2018 because most people December. Most people apply for their authority late in the year so that they can get a prorated amount with TIA. So it's only like the last month because of registration periods.
Right.
So he applied for his carrier authority, broker authority in November, December 2018. In January, when his dues come up for TIA, shuts off his broker's authority, keeps only his carrier authority, right? But if you look at L&I, licensing insurance, where most brokers look to see if a carrier is good or not, it shows that he's revoked as being a broker. If you look at carrier company snapshot, which most owner operators look at to see if a broker is good or not, it says entity carrier/broker. So DOT and Federal Motor didn't talk to each other. So now this poor owner operator looks at it and says, oh, this guy's a broker. And now I go to his website, and in the bottom left corner, it's got a certificate from TIA that says he's a valid broker. So how in the hell are we going to stop it if we're not vetting these guys in the first place? I gave him a list today. Again, this is the third time I've done it in a year. There are 350 companies in a 2,000 square foot building at 3377 California Avenue in Signal Hill, California. There's not enough room to park a pickup truck in their driveway, let alone this tractor trailer.
Yeah.
So look up that address. You'll see how small that building is. So in that building, there are 300. The principal place of business shows 361 MC numbers.
Yeah, but
All of them have the same email address, which is WTFFMCSA@AOL.com.
oh yeah, I remember this one, Dale. We talked about it.
I had an
You're
article.
kidding me.
I had an article written by Alex Lockey of Overdrive Magazine about this last year, and we put it out to everybody to see. So today, there are still 361 guys at that address, same phone number, same address. The registered agent's name is, I think, Kurt Oliver is the guy's name that registered half of them. The telephone number, you can't reach it because it just goes to a, hey, if this is your message system, press your message ID. The email address doesn't get answered. Mail gets returned. So that tells me that most of these authorities happened between 2021 and 2023. That means that there's been no new entry audit done on them either to find out who they are. So now we got all these guys with whether have 1 or 5 trucks been on the road with that their safety record shows, whatever the hell it is. They don't have a safety record.
Right.
So not rated. So now brokers look at the not rated and says, oh, this guy's no good. I mean, any broker that looks at a carrier that says, oh, they're not rated, so I'm not going to use them. 93% of all motor carriers on the road with active authority are not rated. Only, 97% are not rated. 3% are rated. With 3% of all motor carriers have a satisfactory safety rating. So they got problems at Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration where, they fucking hate me.
Dale has to fucking make new phone numbers every single day because they keep blocking his ass.
He's got 1,400 Google Voice numbers.
Yeah,
I have one, and they know how to get a hold of me.
I bet they do. I bet they do. You know what they do? They just pull up caller ID and then call the last number that called them.
Here's a funny little fact. A funny little fact is the guy that runs Federal Motor, below Sue Lawless, is he's the registration guy. Ken, really nice guy. I mean, I have nothing against him. He's doing his job. He's a government employee. What I do have as an issue is he spent 34 years in the Army. God bless him. Even though he's in the Army, I was in the Marine Corps. So he spent this time in the Army. He got out of the Army and got a job at Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration as the Director of Registration. So just for fun, 3 weeks ago, I applied for a job for the Deputy Director of Registration at Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Gave him all my stats, 31 years as a broker, been a motor carrier, been an owner-operator. I'm working on a fraud thing for the last 5 years, invented my own quoting system. I've done a lot in transportation. I got the application rejection back about a week ago. It said, application disqualified for lack of experience.
What?
Oh my God.
So guess who doesn't want me to work there? I think I'd put about 5 people out of work.
I wonder why, Dale. I wonder why.
And I remind them that my last 6 years in the Marine Corps was spent on the IG team. I was on the Inspector General team, and my job was to find fraud and find ways to fix it. And I tell them that I'm finding your fraud. And, about 4 years ago, we wrote a letter to 7 congressmen and senators who sent a letter to OIG, the Office of Inspector General, to the DOT and FMCSA saying, you need to come up with a bipartisan, part federal government, part stakeholder freight fraud task force and find out what's going on, why there's so much fraud. the agency came back and said it's not agreed. The problem's not egregious enough. That was 4 years ago. It's got even worse since then. But that's what their letter was back to the Senate and congressmen. And I said to them, and I've talked to some people in Congress, well, one guy in particular in Indiana, and he works on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. And I said the reason they don't have that board is because they'd all be in front of senators pleading the fifth because they're all their own fault. So, but now they are starting. I don't know if you saw the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration said that they are going to start a freight fraud task force within the agency. Big news. Wow, they're going to do something. So I sent an email saying I'd like to be on this task force. Oh, it's only going to be made up of federal employees that work for the registration division. So I said, okay, so it's like putting the arsonist in charge of fire safety, right?
Dale said, I want to be a part of this task force. They sent him an email back saying, your application's been rejected for not having enough experience.
But that task force, they don't even have funding for yet.
No.
The one that they've announced that they're going to put together, that's going to be working here shortly. They don't have approved funding for it yet. And my God, do they need a lot of people for it. And you know what? I'm all for them doing it. So they, you know, the thing has to happen, right? So, and the sooner they get started, the better. But we need funding, and they need to start hiring, and we need to get down that road.
Pull some of the money back from the 900,000 IRS agents they hired.
Yeah, that's you beat me to it, Steve. That's how I was ending my point.
Oh.
Until the budget office gives us money, let's hire some stakeholders from within the industry and have them report to us.
Right.
Oh, sign me up.
Or the other question I have to ask them is, every time that they do something, the government works really good with talking, right? There's always talking points. And every time they say something, they're doing something, they're really doing something. Well, they're really not doing anything. They're going to put together a task force. What good is it going to do? In 2013, they announced that they were going to open a budget. They got a budget of $360 million to fix the vetting program and processes over the next 10 years. So that was 2013 to 2023. Well, 2023 came along, and did we change anything? No, but it's 2024. So we've talked about that for the last 10 years. Now we have to say we're going to come up with the FRS, the new federal registration system, to make things better. And
because they ran out of money and they need to submit for more money now, so they come up with a program to.
And the only thing we hear out of that program is that it's going to be easier for people to fill out the application, right? We don't need to make it. We need to make it easy for people to apply for authority. I agree with that, but we need to make it real hard for them to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do it.
Two things I'm going to say here. First thing, I haven't been able to say this in quite a while, but this is my saying when it comes to anything with the government, especially when it comes to our industry. And in the words of the great communicator, Mr. Reagan, there is nothing the government can do that the private industry cannot do better. And I've said it a million times when it comes to this fraud thing that, this specifically, if this really was something they wanted to solve, the government would do what they do with everything else, and they would subcontract the shit out. And the irony of this specific situation, I feel, is there are plenty of us in this industry that would gladly donate our time for free to help eradicate this fucking problem. That's the stupid thing about it is, Nate talked about funding and, we need funding for everything. But it's like, hey, again, just like Dale applied to that thing. Yeah, it was a joke, but it's still like, dude, here you have someone who has more experience in his fucking pinky finger than everyone running this shit organization. And you're telling him that he has no place there, And I really, it does, man. I feel until we move to people like you, Dale and Claudia and others that are on the forefront of this on the civilian side, I guess you could say, it's not going to get solved because they don't care. Because it's a revenue stream, Dale. I've said this a million times. They don't give a shit. It's $300 every single day times 500 or 1,000 fucking people. They have no incentive to stop this. No.
In May of 2012, the Government Accounting Office sent a letter to Congress saying the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration needs to get away from only vetting passenger carriers and household goods carriers. They need to vet everybody. they said and this is a government accounting office. They know what things cost, right? They said it would cost you 2 people and a little bit of infrastructure, a little bit of IT, right, to make that happen. So the agency answered back saying it would take us more than 2 people, but then August wrote that we're going to vet everybody, and then in footnote 68 of that Federal Register says we're going to not vet. We're going to vet everybody except unless you're a household goods. If you're not a household goods or a passenger carrier, we're not going to vet you. We have the authority to, but we don't have the resources to do it. But my answer to that is I built Freight Validate in less than a year with just me and a guy doing some coding, and it didn't cost me millions and millions of dollars to do it. I have it in place. That means if I can do it, they can do it.
Different is the want.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, it does. It comes down to the incentive. I mean, to me, I really feel that it is that simple. Really is. You know, you're going to do this, and they're saying, oh, it's going to cost us money, which is true. But in the same token, now we're going to lose all the money from the people that we're allowing in here. And, you know, I think, Dale, I don't know how you would feel about this or any of the rest of you, but you know why I think that they're vetting the passenger and the HHG is because they're a easy part of this industry. And it's easy. It's easy.
The only real reason that they're only vetting those is because everybody at the high levels of Federal Motor and DOT, it's first about people, right? It's safety. Those are the only 2 entities that are really people facing, right? Passengers. So freight doesn't matter. We might get an accident with somebody, but the problem that they miss that 98% of the accidents that happen with a big truck are not hauling people or household goods. It's the exact opposite. So, but the other thing is, change it to $900 to get your authority. We've been at $300 since Christ was a corporal. You know, raise the price a little bit.
He just say since Christ was a corporal.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
If you raise the price just a little bit, first of all, you're going to weed out some of the guys. But I mean, and I was in a conference and I said this: to become a barber in Tennessee, you need to spend $900 to get your license. You need to go through 1,100 hours of training. You have to be an apprentice for 9 hours. You have to take an 8-hour test. You have to make sure you don't owe anybody money that taught you how to become a barber. And you have to take a test to get a license, to get authority to run a motor carrier company. You need $300. Could be on a Visa gift card you pick up at Walmart. You need a crooked insurance guy who's going to give you crooked insurance. There's plenty of those guys. And you need to have a BOC3 agent who are all a bunch of crooks, and you're in business. So does the government really care more about safety on our highways or a bad haircut?
That's pretty
Fair
wild.
point. Fair point. Well, it's definitely a messed up thing. So I know when I started my trucking company 15 years ago, the whole thing was messed up. To get insurance, you had to have a truck. To get a truck, you had to have insurance. So tell me how you make that happen. So
now you just hire.
Yeah. So, right. I mean, it's the whole, I mean, and that was before fraud was even discussed. I mean, it happened. Double brokering happened. Most of the time, double brokering was, I'm just going to move it on somebody else because I got overbooked and I'm not going to bother the broker with it. That was 9 times out of 10, if not more than that. And people would get mad, whatever the case was. But, you know, most of the time it wasn't an issue. And we all just, actually in the LTL industry back there, I moved a lot of LTL and stuff that came across my dock. You'd look at it and you'd look at the chain of custody on it, and it'd be fun. You'd see stuff go through CH twice. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you'd see something that started at CH and then it went back to CH and it came across my dock. So, you know, how many times did you see this get brokered? So, yeah. But now it's insane. So
if anyone thinks they haven't been double brokered, they just haven't been caught in it yet. There's plenty of people that do a great job of double brokering, you know, and here's how I think it, you know, it's really gotten so bad in the last 4 years. But if you look at the timeline and where it got bad, I'm a big guy on like, okay, I know what the problem is. I know how to fix it, but let's find out where it came from in the first place. You know, if my base is getting flooded, I'm not just going to take buckets and keep throwing it out. I'm going to find out where the water's coming in from and stop that first. And that's what we haven't done with our deal. So, And it all started, if you look at the timeline, the fraud really started right about COVID, right? We were
Yeah.
all making a shitload of money. We couldn't hire anybody because the government was paying them $600 extra in most states on top of their unemployment, stay at home to play video games and watch Scooby-Doo. So we couldn't hire anybody. So what we did, we had to go overseas to outsource people who could work. So
Right.
the good guys went to Colombia, the bad guys went to Eastern Europe. And then we hired people from third world countries, paying them $500 a month or something incredibly insane, huge money to them because they're a third world country. These guys are all incredible workers. I don't care what anybody says about the Colombians or about the Philippines or about Eastern Europe. These people are good workers. So we hired these folks, paying them dirt money. We were making a shitload of money because COVID was a bloodbath of money. Then you fast forward, the government started taking the money away. People started going back to work. We start pulling those jobs back from overseas. Now these people that were so good at what they were doing are saying, I can't, we were in the brokerage business to buy a boat. They're in it to feed their family. They were living and breathing. So they had to find some way to do. So now they're saying, we know how to do this really, really well. We know we can go get an authority for $300 on the internet. They don't even know who we are. Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes, I am. Are you this? Yes, I am. Do you have a truck? I sure do. And they were just making all kinds of money. Now because we've let all those people in, now we have all the fraud, and now they're saying we can't take it away. We should have taken it away in the first 10-day protest period and not let them in the first place.
Yeah, and Dale, I'm pretty sure that you joined that pro talk, man, at MATS from the FMCSA. Came up there and they put out all these things, and one of the ideas that they had and the plan that they set forth, like I liked it. You touched on some of those things, right? What you just said, about being the American citizen, like they were talking about, man, we're going to validate that. You actually having a real LLC where you are in the state you live kind of deal, going through and really verifying the things that would easily eliminate people that are trying to do this fraudulently. But I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, just like Nate said, hell, you come up with an idea, you ain't even got the money to hire the people to can't think of the word, but execute the idea.
Well, they have the registration system coming out, but they say we're going to verify that company is got an LLC or they're properly organized in the state they're doing business in, right? Okay, so my question is, how are you going to verify who the actual owner of that company is? Well, they're going to list their authorized representative. Okay, I can be in Uzbekistan and hire Pedro Potato to be my authorized representative in the state of Minnesota or wherever you live, and put you on my registration thing, and everything's good. No, it's not.
What is that called? Registered agent. That's where all those massive numbers of MCs from one address comes from.
Right. Yeah, it's just a register. And so then they're going to have then we'll make the registered agents be vetted. Well, how are you going to vet a registered agent? Then you have a drop-down box of who you can pick to be your registered agent. Then he's going to fill out everything for you, and he's just going to tell you sign here. Who's really responsible for that information being correct? The registered agent or the guy signing the contract? So they have a long ways to go. When they said at MATS that we're about 90 days out to the first iteration of this registration program, they're smoking crack.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Nate.
but 90 days. Sorry, my dog barked, so she drew my attention. But 90 days out from MATS, I mean, that's
we're there.
We're there. We're getting there. So yeah.
And so instead, they're going to have a listening session again in Washington D.C. on the 29th of May, talking about their IT department. The IT department is not the ones that are going to fix this. Somebody's got to give them the ideas to put into the programming to fix it. Let's start there. But it's so easy. The problem too we have, this is just my opinion, you have organizations like TIA and OIDA and all those guys that are doing this lobbying stuff going in there. Well, I've talked to a representative in Indiana who said those are just meet and greets. They come down the hall, we say, what are these guys here for? There's really not a lot getting done. The roots programs that really work are like Broker Carrier Summit. These are constituents. Right. These aren't lobbyists. These are voters. So these are people that are going to get it together and making a voice, saying things are happening, having panels, and getting people really talking about it without lobbying to Congress or Senate and paying money. People listen to voters. Guys like Lombard, he's a voter. Cruz listens to guys like him. And so that's the angle we're starting to take now. I'm going to say
another thing that's going to put this under proper processes. Proper processes from brokers and proper processes from carriers, ensuring that who you're booking the load with is actually who you're booking the load with. Getting that person on the phone, yes, is there still a possibility of fraud? Yes, but I deal with what happens when a carrier gets attacked all the time. On the IT side, we see when a carrier gets bombarded with fraudulent activity. So in a scenario where they get mail bombed, and they're getting a carrier who's booking loads as them, but then they get 10,000 emails so that it hides the rate confirmation, so that the carrier doesn't know there's a fraudulent rate confirmation coming in. So the fraudulent carrier can call the broker and get dispatched. That broker is dispatching a carrier without a signed rate confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
That happens. Quit doing that. This is trucking 101. There's there are some certain processes out there that just need to be followed, and if you deviate away from some of these processes, you're opening yourself to fraud.
Yeah.
I actually stopped doing business with a carrier, or a broker. They're legit, but it was more of the broker being lazy. He didn't want to send me the rate con until after everything was complete to make sure he didn't have to make any changes. And I was like, no.
No.
He's like, well, we got confirmation on email that we agreed upon. And I said, I want the rate con. So we stopped doing business just because he was lazy. He refused to send me the rate con until afterwards. But then when I had changes to it, I still had to hunt him down to get it. I did it one time. And I was like, no, I need the rate con in advance. And he said, well, that's not our process. And I said, well, then we ain't doing business anymore.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you one person who I would hate to be in this life is any broker that works for me, because all those guys, all that work for me, I mean, I have to hold them to such a high standard because I'm out there promoting this freight vigilante stuff. So here's how our process works. We have a 31-point checklist on every single shipment that happens. Every one of our drivers that picks up has to go through facial recognition. Our facial recognition thing costs me $2,800 a month, but I can verify his driver's license is good. I can verify that his selfie he takes matches the driver's license on there. I take his selfie, I send it to the shipper. We say, this is the guy that's coming in. Here's his bill of lading. Here's his information. And then people say, well, check the MC number when the guy shows up at the door. Well, I can put a magnet on the truck very easily. But our people say, when the driver gets there, before he gets there and when he gets there, I need you to go in your glove compartment and send me, just like a police officer would when you pulled over, license, insurance, registration. The registration better match who I booked it with. The insurance better match the COI, and the license, your license better match what we just did on your thing. So my people have to go through just a tremendous amount of crap, and I'm in the expedited department. So imagine how we have to put that all together so fast to make it happen. But if I can do it, then a truckload carrier who doesn't have the speed and shit that we have to have can probably do it. But I think Nate's exactly right. If you follow the procedures, I knock on wood, I haven't been ripped off by a double broker, and I don't know how long. But our folks have to go through a lot of shit. But now trying to get the shipper to do it, we've sent a guy in there. We found out after he was dispatched that they switched the truck on us. They tried to do a lease agreement and all this kind of crap. We get to the shipper. We said, do not load this guy. I got another guy 5 minutes behind him. The guy said, my son has a T-ball game in 15 minutes. I'm loading this guy, and he's getting the fuck out of here.
Wow.
So I want to interject here, and Nate talked about processes, and Dale, you expanded on that, and I just want to speak from my perspective as a broker. I got into this right before COVID, and I've been brokering all through COVID and until now, and I'll tell you that the process when I first got into this was really simple. I mean, it was someone called you for a load. You just went on FMCSA, you checked that. You may have done a few other little minor verifications, nothing major. And then you send them a load, man. As long as things checked out, you didn't have no freight guards or whatever the case was, then, everything's good. Now, I don't know how many points we have, Dale, but you call us for a load. We take your MC, we put you through 2 verification systems. we check FMCSA, and then we verify your email. We call the fucking company. Like if the email or phone number you're calling and giving us does not match anything we see with the verification systems that we use or the other data, we call, we verify the name of the person, the phone number, the email they're using. And then with the driver, we talk verbally with the driver. We get their phone number. We verify the phone number is actually a cell, that it's not a VoIP. Now our team is really good at it because, they do it every day. So they've got it down to where it happens in like 45 seconds. But it's like, the amount of shit that you have to go through today to make sure that or be as sure as you can that you're moving freight with a valid, verified carrier, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's nuts. And I'll also say that because of the amount of those processes, there are some good people who get wrapped up in that just may fail one or two things, like the whole inspection thing. Personally, I think that's fucking stupid. I don't know where that came from. I'm 1,000% against that. I don't give a shit if you got 0 or 5,000 inspections. That doesn't matter to me. But all people, good folks, get wrapped into that, and it sucks. And so, it's not only brokers and shippers that are suffering from this too, but carriers are, man. Carriers, newer entrants, or people that are under a year are the usual subjects that get wrapped into these things and miss out on loads and good opportunities and stuff. And it sucks, but here's all the things we have to go through. It's absolutely ridiculous. All in the name of protecting yourself, your customer, the freight, doing all these things. It's nuts. And to think that our industry is like, this goes on so much. If you were an outsider, you guys have to admit, when you say this to people who don't know, they're like, no way that goes on. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you have no idea how crazy this shit is in our industry. Theft and fraud, it's nuts.
I think one of the major problems is not only going back to what Nate said about processes, right? Is that most of the people learn about fraud by going to things like MATS, Manifest, because they're sitting behind a booth looking at whether it's CarrierSure, My Carrier Packets, Highway, whoever. You got VPs and operations managers looking at that stuff. The problem is they're saying, this is great, we're going to sign up, but they don't train the people that work for them to go back there and say, these are red flags to be looking for. So those kids are going like, I'm trying to do the best I can. And then they're paying in a bonus. So the kid goes, if I don't book this load today, I don't make my bonus next month. What we've developed because of the way we do business is a bunch of gamblers.
Yeah.
If we are all brokers, we are all gamblers. We're going to go all in. We're going to take this bet that this thing's going to go okay. If it doesn't, I lost my hand. If it goes good, I win, and my family gets a bonus. Yeah. So we turn people, and to your point, Pedro, about what other industries think. We just went through the Blitz this last week, right?
Yes.
1 in 5 trucks were put out of service. That's 20%. Name me any other business that they think it's okay to have a 20% error rate.
Man, preach, brother Dale, preach.
I get a little bit excited about this shit because it kind of pisses me off sometimes. But
hey, Dale, I told you that we never get pulled in to do an audit, and it pisses me off. Even during the damn Blitz, we didn't.
Someday, Dale, you and I are gonna have to go have a beer and talk about life.
Up in Minnesota in July.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll be around. So I think I'll be around. I got to run out to a couple of different things, but I'll be around.
Yeah, we're going to be staying up in Blaine the first week of July.
Well, first week, if it's over the 4th, I'll be up at the cabin. So
yeah,
but
we'll be.
Jesus fuck. Okay, you know what?
Oh shit! Here she goes.
Uh-oh.
Here comes the hurricane.
Look, so we tell it, and I'm sober right now, just so y'all know, completely and absolutely. Wait until I get drunk and start talking about this stuff. Okay, so look, we tell carriers, hey, if you get double brokered, you should have checked with, and made sure that the broker that you were taking that load from was legit. And we tell brokers, hey, you need to check and make sure that the carriers that you work for are legit. Meanwhile, you've got, I'm going to make this point and then I'm going to get back to this other thing. is that like we've got shippers who send me contracts, my company, not me personally, contracts that are carrier shipper contracts. And I'm like, y'all know I'm not a broker. Y'all know I'm not a carrier. You know I'm not an asset-based carrier. You know that this MC is strictly and completely, absolutely a brokerage. Why are you sending me a carrier contract? They do it and they don't care. They do it. They don't care. They force you to sign that contract if you're going to do business with them. And it's not little people that are doing this. These are mega companies. And that's why brokerages go ahead and sign their soul over to them. And they're like, well, it doesn't, everybody signs this contract. Well, everybody does. And when somebody gets fucked, it's the broker who gets held to it because you're the one who signed the damn piece of paper that said you're liable. And it's bullshit. And it's bullshit that they require it. It's bullshit that brokers require carriers to sign over some shit like that too. It's just, I don't love the whole, like, that's just the way it is in the industry bullshit. It's crap. We should fix it. There's no reason that we should be signing that. So, okay, that's a side note about that. But here's the thing: we tell people,
Hey,
you
Claudia,
need to
Claudia, hold on 1 second. Claudia, so I had a broker send me one of those contracts, and I didn't sign it. This was this last week. I didn't sign it right away, right? And she said, "Well, can you please sign it and send it over?" I said, "No, I send all these to my attorney to look over before I sign them." And they said, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a protocol. You don't have to do all that." I said, "No, every one of these I send to my attorney. They look over it before I sign these. So it could be a day or two before I can send it back to you."
There you go. So that's great. And so I've had fellow brokers call me out because I allowed a small carrier to redline one of my broker carrier agreements. So I'm like, why would you let them do that? Because they actually took the damn time to read the contract. I respect that. If there's something in there that I will take it to my boss and we'll have a discussion and decide if we can come to an agreement with that. That's fucking responsible. And that's what we damn well should be doing. I highly respect someone who will actually take the damn time to read through that freaking contract and see what it says. If you've got a problem with it, maybe I have a problem with the same thing, but my attorney put it in there. Let's talk about it and see what we can get done. And I highly respect that, but a lot of people don't. On the other hand, we're sitting here saying like, oh, these are all the rules you need to follow, but we don't even know what the fuck the rules are. So I've got this issue, and Dale, I talked to you about this double ELD thing, and I'm still like, this is still a super big red flag to me. But the point of this, I look at it as a broker, and I'm like, why does this VIN have 2 ELDs connected to 2 different MCs connected to it? How is that okay? So I reach out to my DOT guy in my state. He's like, that seems shady. I don't know how that can work. I mean, I guess it could, but let's put you in touch with the federal safety guy. I got in touch with him. He had to ask his people. Ain't none of them damn know. Nobody knows. We sit here and we tell you that you need to do this shit and you need to do that. But then when these red flags come along and I'm like, hey, is this okay? Because I feel like this is not okay. And they're like, well, I mean, maybe, kind of. I don't know. We think so. How can we expect to catch the bad guys when the bad guys know what all of our loopholes are before we know what the fuck they are? And it's bullshit. Okay, I'm done.
I want to talk about, and this is very unpopular amongst brokers, but it's just the way I feel. That one of the reasons that carriers are screwed so bad by brokers is because they let them be, right? They allow it to happen. This is the only industry where the customer writes the contract for somebody to sign. Tell me one lawyer that says, okay, I'm going to hire you as a lawyer, but I'm going to write the contract, and here's all the stuff you got to do for me. Tell me one cell phone company that I write the contract and tell them how many minutes I get to go over before they're going to charge me. Why don't they can't do it during the bad times when the market's down. When the market was high, they should have said all those agreements, we're going to dictate to you. We are the owner of the goods. We're the owner of the truck. We're the bank. We're the lawyer. We're the cell phone company. We're going to tell you. And if you want to redline our agreement, great. You want to talk about
I've been doing that game a long time. So here's the reason why that doesn't, for the broker, that's one thing. For the shipper, that's another. You're dealing with a lot of small entities. So, and a carrier is, most carriers are not huge organizations in comparison to the shipper. The shipper is usually bigger than the carrier.
Yeah, I'm not talking
not
about
all, not always.
I'm not talking about shippers at all.
Right. So let's talk about the broker. And in many cases, the broker is not too. But you're dealing about a high volume, fast transaction that many times only happens once. So how much time are you going to spend on that? So to Claudia's point, you have this fast contract that's a couple pages long that should be boilerplate and should be what you expect it to be. And you have a dispatcher who is trained to read that, who executes that contract. And somehow that contract, because it's a dispatcher that works at the company, is now held up in court.
Mm-hmm.
So any other contract that I would sign at a carrier, there's no chance in hell that a contract would stand up if my dispatcher signed it in court. They don't have legal authority to sign a contract. So, that's crazy. But in this particular case, they seem to. So, we're crazy as an industry because this works. I agree with you. I mean, you can dictate whatever you want to dictate, but it is the high volume contract process, I think, that dictates this weird scenario. And it comes down to the owner operator who's in the truck, or the 3-truck operator whose owner's in the truck, that just doesn't have the ability to be able to process the document.
Yeah. But to that point, if they have the time to sign an agreement coming from a broker, they have time to sign an agreement to a broker. And they should take the time to redline one that comes from a broker anyway and just say, I'm not going to take it. Again, you can only do that during certain market periods. Now is not that market period. The other thing, when you talk about just the fraud part about it, like no one knows the rules, all those kind of things, it just, in my mind, it sucks that we have to have highway, freight validate, any of us. Because of the federal motor carrier, why should we have to second guess what the government's? I mean, that's like having somebody, hey, you can go through TSA, and if you have a gun in there, I'm going to have somebody out here check twice to make sure you don't have a gun in your suitcase. It's stupid. So if you are fit to operate, you should be fit to use. And when there's an accident, the broker shouldn't be dragged into court. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration should be, because they did the vetting, not the broker.
Collectively speaking, trying to get carriers to do one thing together is virtually impossible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call out education or anything like that, because I started in the industry as a driver. I've owned trucks. I've run carriers, but when you are dealing with the carrier side, and I'm speaking to a small carrier group at the ATA on Tuesday, you cannot get them all on the same page ever, and
that's why it's important to have things like the Broker Carrier Summit. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I call that the most important summit that anybody can go to, because no one knows. Brokers know the rules. Carriers know the rues. OID's got rules. TIA's got rules. At this place, we come together. Here's what the rules mean. I'm talking to you as a broker. Here's my side of it. You tell me your side. Now let's get together with other brokers and carriers and say, this is how things should be. The more that grows and takes traction and gets legs, the more that we're going to be able to corral some more of those owner operators.
100%.
Rather than
finding that middle ground. I mean, Kevin Hill, I had on our podcast yesterday, and he identified there's 1,000 brokers with 10 employees or less out there, which is mind blowing. I think I said that twice now today, or I don't know. I've been talking all day, so maybe I didn't say it on this program, but. So you have 1,000 major brokers that are out there, and how many carriers that are out there that you have to compete with. So you have this training funnel where 1,000 people are trained, or 27,000 brokers overall, and you have how many carriers? There's 3 million trucks on the road.
320,000 carriers.
So there's an infinite, 10 times more carriers than there is brokers. But then 10 times more of that drivers on top of it. And, how do you get that? It's just an infinitely larger problem to deal with. So, and I'll yell at me if you want. The audience can yell at me all they want, but drivers are not as educated as brokers. So they're they're just not. Generally speaking, the college education and whatnot is higher. It doesn't mean that they're smarter, but generally speaking, from a technology standpoint, there is training that goes into brokerage on how to sell, on how to navigate navigate that transaction. And there is not training very often on the carrier side on how to sell and how to navigate that transaction.
And brokers are in front of brokers in front of a computer screen all day watching what's going on LinkedIn, learning.
Absolutely.
Phones with people all day talking to somebody. The driver is listening to Sirius XM Joel Osteen's podcast.
I love what you brought up, Nate, and I love what you just said, Dale. And man, that is something that I want to say all the fucking time, but I don't. I always hold myself back because carriers, drivers, they're real touchy people when you talk about them. And, because they always, especially when you're coming from a broker standpoint or another standpoint that you're not a driver. And Dale, to what you said is, all of us right here, we all know each other from LinkedIn. And look at every single one of us on this screen, aside from Hunter and I, all do something different. Actually, even Hunter and I do different jobs in the realm of we are as brokers. But, it's true. We are in this every day and we see all sides of the transaction. The broker is the middle player. We're the middle person. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but we interact with the carriers. We interact with the shippers. We're on things like LinkedIn and we have time to watch podcasts and do all these other things and listen to other folks in the industry from various sides, and we're able to gain a lot more knowledge. I agree with you, Nate. Like, I really don't think that it's much of a college thing. It's just, where are they getting their information from? And I'm sorry, but a lot of drivers get their information from the worst place on the planet Earth to get their information, and that's fucking social media like Facebook and X. And that's it. They hear, and from other drivers. I'll tell you, when I was a driver, everything that I knew about being a driver came from other drivers. All the opinions I had, all the education, the intelligence, everything. I never once talked to a shipper, a dock worker, never asked anyone what their standpoint was. And I think that, to wrap it up, that's their problem. They're in this little 3-foot bubble, 3-foot world, as we say in the military, and they haven't found a way to get out of that and pull information from outside sources to really understand, things from a perspective that a lot of us are at.
Do you guys remember when we were active duty and they were talking about having the base housing attorneys if you're going to get divorced and blah, blah, blah. It's like, really? Where did you get that legal education? Did you get that while you were looking over the picket? That's not it. That ain't it, bro. So it's the same kind of concept, but same.
Yes, it is. You're right.
With a driver, we all can have different aspects and different points of view come at us all day and maybe have a discussion, change your mind a little bit. But imagine yourself as a driver that's got 500 miles to go and he just got screwed by somebody. All he's thinking about is how bad screwed he got by those drivers for 500 miles. Then he stops at a truck stop and another guy got screwed too. So now that is just the only way he thinks. He is so mad at the world because he hasn't had a chance to get any perspective through his whole drive.
Well, and here's the thing, like I feel like sometimes, like when I talk about fraud and stuff, it sounds like I am like anti-carrier and I'm anti-driver, and that is absolutely not it. I am all for the carriers and I am all for the drivers, but what I want is drivers who, first of all, know how to fucking drive, just throwing that out there. Secondly, who, I want them taken care of, because these fraud guys, they're not just screwing over brokers. They're not just screwing over shippers. They're screwing over drivers. They're screwing over like these single owner ops who are just, who have no option. And it's bullshit the way that they're being treated. And when they get taken advantage of in that way, now where are we? What's the end now? Because like we're running these guys out of business because there's some fraudster sitting over in Uzbekistan who doesn't give a shit. And you know what? I don't even know what those guys are. What's that show on Net Geo that Trafficked? That have you guys seen the show Trafficked? It's got the investigator gal on it. Anyway, she did this thing where she was investigating. She does all kinds of like sketchy investigating, and she's investigated the people who do the call. They scam people out of money on the phone, right? And well, she goes and interviews these people, and like this woman was like, I got into this because I was making, $6 a day, and my dad needed a kidney transplant, and I'm not. So when I talk about this and I talk shit about these people who are like the bad guys, like I don't know their circumstance of why they're doing that. But the point is, the people that I see, know, and hear here are getting like robbed, literally, in one way, shape, or another for it, and that infuriates me. So like when I talk, like when I make a carrier jump through the hoops to tell me who they are, that's because I want to make sure that I'm not screwing over some carrier. Like I want to, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to make you call. I'm going to make you do the things because I need to know that this isn't some scammer who's taken up your MC, who's about to run your business into the ground to the point of no return. I'm trying to help you. It sounds like I'm not, but I really am. And I think that's one of the things that some people don't realize when it comes to fraud investigation and that kind of stuff.
They don't. They're not
coming at it from a different, like, you don't understand how I'm protecting you, but I'm protecting you. And if you're bad, I'm coming to get you. Stop it.
They don't catch that. I'm gonna make this point, and then I gotta bow out. I gotta take the family out to dinner. But they don't see that point. The carrier, not all of them. Some of them do. The carrier, once again, they're running, especially the dispatcher, and the dispatcher's got a different role than the broker. So the dispatcher's running a board of 20, 30, 40, 50 drivers, and some of that's contract freight, potentially a lot. Potentially 95% of what they have is contract freight, or 100%. And maybe they need to cover one load or 5 loads that for that day. And they just want to get it off their board. They don't even care that much about the rate. They're just trying to get that off the board and move the truck. So, and if you're asking them questions, and this is the training part, that's the problem. You as the broker are trained about margin, and you're trained about fraud. They maybe are just now getting trained about fraud in the last 6 months. So they're not trained. They haven't been getting trained about fraud for 2 years. They're getting trained about fraud now, and they're not trained very well about how to negotiate. They never have been. If they're an old hand, they are. So,
and talking about training, I set up, so you guys don't know this, but I did set up a small freight fraud seminar here at our building. I have room for 24 students or participants in our classroom, and I had somebody who has thoroughly vetted, has been involved in freight theft for quite some time from my insurance company that was piping in to do the talk on us. I had some law enforcement that was going to come, and I tried to get my local carriers to come. They are running so thin on staff. They're running on such a skeleton staff. They don't have time to give me even half of a morning. Because I'm like, maybe I can help you. I understand. Maybe you don't have time to take a few days to go up to the Broker Carrier Summit. Maybe you don't have time to go to this like full-on conference, but take a half a morning. I'm 5 minutes down the road. Come spend some time with me and let me help you. They don't even have that much time. So how are we, because they're running on such thin margins, they can't get away that long. Like, how are they even when they know that there's information out there they need to get, they don't have the damn time to get it because they're still trying to book loads for, again, negotiating and all of that jazz. So
I had a
I'm
carrier.
glad that's not on me to book the loads like that.
I had a small carrier that says that my drivers don't have time to go through and log into Freight Validate, see if this broker's bad or broker. So that's why I came up with Siri. Now they can do it from their front seat of their truck.
That's awesome.
Siri, check Freight Validate.
I got to dip out. Nice chatting with everybody.
Nice to meet you, Nate.
Yeah, I gotta run, Nate.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Hey, Dale, thanks for sending that over. I'll get on that list.
Okay. Oh,
Dale.
The MC number failed. No, it said fail. I had an MC number and it failed on Siri. All right. I'll see you later.
Dale, later, my brother.
Hey, Dale.
Siri said, Dale, what the fuck do you want? I get tired of you, Dale.
Me and that girl be fighting.
Oh, man. All right. Guess we're going to go ahead in the show.
Yeah.
Steve, sorry the whole fraud thing. Like,
Dude, I can
I'm
talk
sorry.
about that shit all day
That's
and hear
my
about it all
fault.
day
My bad.
long. Like, definitely not a bad thing for me. I mean, I'm all about Dale and everything he does and Claudia. I mean, I could listen to it all day. I mean, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't get fixed, it's going to affect me. So
You're
Hey
right.
Steve, after this, I want to connect with you. I got a connection for you. I was trying to deal with something with a load and a broker, but you were talking about the paperwork coming in from your customers,
Yep.
and there's my little spidery connecty things, or I've got an idea for you for somebody that shot me a product that wasn't going to work for me, but it might be a thing for you. So
okay, awesome, thank you.
yeah, I'll connect with you. Might be
Totally,
might be
bro.
help. So
Dude, hey, her name ain't Claudia the Connector for nothing, dude. You know? Hey, all I'm saying is once she gets in your fucking DMs, you just be ready for her to stay in your DMs.
wait, like, okay, hey, you just put that on the internet. Let's be perfectly clear. That's for like legitimate connections.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not. Like, I'm not like.
I love it, man.
Let's make sure what we're saying that I'm DMing about. Okay, like
Man, Claudia,
it's
you
professional
know,
connection.
you are one of our favorite freaking people. We love you, Claudia. Like you are.
Man, I love
You're
you guys.
so
And legit, I'm sorry I've like ghosted. I've just been, man, these bad guys are fucking keeping me so damn busy that
we have lives, and you know, Claudia, we never forget you. But man, I am.
Yeah.
Hunter and I are so happy that you reached out and said, "Hey, I want to come chill with you guys," and that we got to see your face
yeah,
and hear your voice. And you're
Yeah.
always, even when we're talking about like bad things like this, you're just an uplifting voice, you know, and you fit right in with us. You're real, Claudia, and you're raw, and that's great. You know, you don't hold back on the punches. You tell it how it is, and you know we honestly need more of that in every aspect of life. You know, like quit trying to dumb things down and not tell people the way things are, and be forthcoming. So we enjoy you every time, Claudia, all the time.
Well, for better or for worse, I'm transparent AF. Transparent AF. So, you know,
For sure.
sometimes to my detriment, for sure. But yeah, you know, I just we want to do the good things. You know what I mean? Like that. That's really it. So anyway, thanks for having me on again, guys. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry I sort of kind of hijacked that thing, but like there's some these bad guys.
Before you go, Claudia, any exiting comments, questions, updates, concerns updates?
Well, I went on a trip to the Dominican Republic and remembered how much I like island life.
Ooh,
So
nice.
I desperately miss living by the sea, and I am trying to find my way back there. I mean,
about,
you know,
you're about as landlocked as it gets right now.
Yeah. Thanks for that reminder, bro. I appreciate that. So, yeah,
Steve can help you out. He lives close to the ocean.
Charleston, South Carolina. Come on.
There you go. Hey, I got some people over there. I may be sliding over there. So, but yeah, that's it. Just, you know, still out fighting the fraud, man. That's it. These guys are coming up with new shit every fucking day, and it's just it'll wear you out. And we're just trying to keep up, keep ahead, and it's hard, man. I'm telling you, it's fucking hard. And we do a lot more than a lot of brokers do, and it's hard. So I can't even imagine. So anyway.
Oh yeah. Make sure. Sorry. Make sure you remember we need to
Get the boss on.
Yes, reignite this thing with your boss. Like
Yeah.
when you had told us about it, we were super interested, and I totally forgot till I saw that dang sign on the ground in that room you're in.
Yeah.
Really want to freaking have him on. So we're going to stay at you, and you stay at him, and let's make that shit happen. Steve, any exiting comments, questions, concerns, or updates, or plugs?
No, I appreciate you guys having us on, and I know Brian had to bounce because he was going to dinner with his wife. They had a birthday party they're going to, but you know, just if you're on LinkedIn, follow us at ARDocPro, website ARDocPro.com. If you have a friend, if you are a small business, you have a friend that owns a small business, and you know, either in logistics and trucking or just any small business, check us out. We can definitely get you hooked up with a website, IT support, and any accounting stuff you guys need in receivables. So we're just here to help. We're not super expensive. It's more about just kind of helping out the small guy. We're that small guy, and we're here to help people out. So check us out, and reach out if you got any questions or anything we can do to help.
Okay.
Hell to the yeah. Mr.
Oh.
Hound, how about yourself there, bro, Cephas?
Good show. It's been a while since we've got ramped up about some fraud. You know, it's been overdue. It's been
Yeah.
overdue. So glad to get the narrative going again, man. And Steve, thanks for coming on as always, man. I wish Brian was still here, but you know he's got IT things to do. I'm sure.
He's eating a cake somewhere.
Yeah, I know. He's probably getting wined and dined by somebody. But yeah, good show as always. Thank y'all for being on here, and thanks everybody
Hell,
for watching.
for real. Yes, thank everyone. You know, Claudia and Steve, Brian, Nate, Dale, everything was on. It was absolutely amazing. Before actually, we'll do the sponsor break, and then I will talk about the kick-ass week that we have lined up next week, and I do mean kick-ass. It's some really good stuff. AR Doc Pro was on the show tonight. They do business with Sureline, and the reason for that is because we tell everyone how kick-ass Sureline is. And Steve and IT Brian said, you know what? Those are folks that we have to do business with. So if Steve does business with them, you know 100% that Sureline is sure fine. G-Go, dude, this was a perfect show for G-Go. Really was. We talked about double brokering and fraud for a good portion of this show. G-Go's whole thing is to try to help combat fraud and theft when it comes to your freight and even your assets. Get yourself real-time GPS tracking and update every 2 minutes and help protect and mitigate your losses when it comes to your freight and your equipment moving across this great country of ours. Bro, I still love that music, dude. I'm telling you, I'm seriously gonna download that shit from Adobe and just so I can listen. I don't know what it is about that song, dude. Like it just gets me wanting to move in my seat. I don't know why, man. All right, next week, phenomenal week, phenomenal, huge. I can't do it as good as Bane, bro. I can't do it as good as Bane. Oh man, I wish I could do it as good as Bane. All right. Next Wednesday, we have two wonderful ladies that we met at Matt's. Hunter, the insurance ladies. They're going to come on and we're going to talk about insurance. And these two women, man, do they ever know about it. We've had some insurance people on the show before, but these two ladies live, eat, breathe, and shit insurance, man. This is what they do. They have a passion for it. Y'all make sure you tune in and watch that. Then, oh man, we have the wonderful Hope Zavara, Mother Trucker Yoga, coming back on the show. Another OG guest, bro. Man, she was with us from the start. Man, that's going to be a great show. We absolutely love Hope. We missed her at Matt's. It's going to be so good to see her. She hasn't been on the show. I think it was December, Hunter, because it was around Christmas time when we had her, bro. It's been a hot minute. And then Friday, Friday's gonna be a doozy. We have Redneck Trucker and Van Brown with Bull Snot.
Oh God!
Coming on the show. going to be absolutely amazing. Make sure y'all tune in next week for the incredible lineup that we have. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We love y'all. Thank you for just always being here with us, man. You know, the lounge wouldn't be what it is without all you viewers and the wonderful people that we have on the show, like Steve and Claudia here. So y'all have a wonderful weekend. If you're going to be out on the roads, whether you're doing stuff family or you're driving, please be safe and get home safely. With that, I will bid you adieu. As I say, chunk those deuces, and Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.